guys, welcome back to another episode of Denise's Dishes. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a quick, easy, and so delicious. I'm so excited about this recipe. I'm going to teach you how to make my honey balsamic chicken drumsticks. It's super inexpensive because chicken drumsticks are like probably the cheapest cut of meat that you can buy in the supermarket, and it's loaded with flavor. You cannot mess it up because you cannot overcook it like you can, chicken breast. But surely you can substitute breast or boneless, skinless thigh meat, or even thigh meat with the bone in. You get what I'm saying? It is so good. It's the perfect party food because it's sweet, it's sticky. You can make it a little spicy if you want by adding some extra red pepper flakes. But we'll go over all of that once we go over the ingredients. I'm so excited. This is also ready in under an hour from start to finish, from the prep work to the time that it gets to the table. Let's go over the ingredients so we can start. For the marinade, we're going to need some olive oil, a little bit of honey. I like to use Greek honey, some Worcestershire sauce, crushed red pepper flakes, which are totally optional, garlic cloves, salt, black pepper, a little bit of water, and balsamic vinegar. I have some chicken drumsticks. This is about 2 pounds that still have the skin on. It's up to you if you want to take it off or not. They've been washed and patted super dry. I have a sprig of fresh rosemary. And then we're going to go over the side. I'm going to serve this with some broccoli, but we're going to go over those ingredients later on. So we're going to begin by seasoning the drumsticks with some salt and pepper on both sides. I'm going to add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil to a cast iron skillet. Now I'm using cast iron because I love the way it holds the heat properly. So now I'm going to put the chicken in the pan. This is over medium-high heat. And I'm going to cook it for 5 minutes on each side so that way it can get nice and golden all around. It's going to release evenly once it's time to turn the side over. So if it needs another minute or so, don't rush it so that way you don't tear the chicken. While the chicken is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and grate all of my garlic cloves into the container that's going to hold all of the marinade. So I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, about 2 tablespoons, and I'm going to put the olive oil in the same cup that I'm going to measure the honey in, so that way the honey comes out easily. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we need a 1/4 cup of honey in this to make it nice and sweet and sticky. See how it just comes out? Nothing wasted. And then we're going to need 1/2 cup of balsamic vinegar. So I'll do 2 of these little 1/4 cup measuring cups. And 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. That's going to deepen the flavor and just add that savory goodness. And a nice hefty pinch of crushed red pepper flakes. If you don't like the heat, just leave it out. And the last ingredient is a 1/4 cup of just plain old water. Just whisk everything all together, and that's it. The marinade is done. We're just going to set this aside. This is actually going to turn into a beautiful glaze. These should be ready to turn now. See how they got nice and golden on the other side? I'm going to cook them for another 5 minutes, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Once the 10 minutes pass, you can take the chicken drumsticks out and put them in the same pan. It really doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about contamination because these are going to continue to cook, and they're going to cook off any bacteria that's on there. Set that aside. Reduce the heat to low underneath your pan and go ahead and pour all of the dressing into the pan. As soon as it starts bubbling, and it'll do that right away, go ahead and put the chicken back in. Add the sprig of rosemary. Now I add a whole sprig instead of adding chopped rosemary because I want the rosemary's flavor to infuse the sauce, and then I want to take it out and discard it at the end. This is going to cook for about 20 to 25 minutes. Halfway through at the 10-minute mark, I'm going to go ahead and flip the chicken over, and I'm going to let the chicken cook until it is fully cooked, until the internal temperature reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I will show you what it looks like as soon as it's done. So in my opinion, the perfect side to this dish is some lemony garlic roasted broccoli. It comes together in 15 minutes, so in under an hour you have your main and you have your side, and you could even cook some rice also just to have a perfect whole meal, but honestly, I don't even need the rice. If I just sit down to a bowl of chicken and broccoli, I am good to go. I get all of the flavors in one. Let's go over the ingredients for the broccoli. They're just so few and basic, and we're gonna pop this in the oven so it can come together before the chicken is ready. So I have 3 garlic cloves, 2 lemon ice cubes, or you could do the juice of a lemon. That's about 1/4 cup is what we're gonna need. Some salt, black pepper, a little bit of olive oil, and I have a tray of broccoli florets. These are fresh, these are not frozen. So I'm gonna begin by making the lemony sauce or whatever. I'm gonna pop these lemon cubes in the microwave just for a few seconds so they can melt. So I'm just gonna grate the garlic cloves first. Add the lemon juice to this. Now, if you watch my How to Preserve Lemons, you'll know that I do like to freeze my lemon juice before the lemons go bad. And then I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. I'm just gonna mix it up, nothing fancy. I'm gonna pour this over the broccoli florets, season with some salt. And you could do black pepper or crushed red pepper flakes, whatever suits your fancy. Mix it all together so that way everything is coated in that lemony garlic goodness. And that's it, this is gonna go in the oven. So the oven is preheated to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna pop these in the center rack. They're gonna roast for just 15 minutes. You do not want them to get too mushy. I like it when they have a little bite to them and they're nice and crisp. I'll show you what they look like as soon as they're done. After 15 minutes, the broccoli should be ready. This is what it's gonna look like. You definitely want it to have a little crunchy bite to it. So I'm just gonna set this aside until my chicken is done. Once the sauce thickens and the chicken is fully cooked, you can go ahead and immediately transfer the chicken to a serving dish and then get all of that sauce out and pour it on top. Because as it sits in the pan, it's going to continue to thicken. And you do want this delicious sauce over the chicken, especially so that we could dip the broccoli in. Garnish the chicken with some sliced fresh scallions, and you can put the broccoli all around it or serve it in a different dish altogether. Just like that, in under an hour, you have a meal that is super flavorful and delicious. It's gonna be rich and savory and sweet and sticky. The sauce basically turns into a glaze. I know you might be thinking that what if you want to make this in a bigger batch, like for a party? You can do it a few times on the cast iron skillet. What I love about this recipe is if you don't blast the heat on high and you cook it over medium heat, the sauce never sticks to the skillet, so you could easily do this a few times. I did try to bake a bigger batch in the oven without pre-cooking anything. I just put the chicken in a baking tray and I poured all of the marinade on top and baked it for 45 minutes to an hour until the chicken was baked, but the sauce never thickened the way it thickens on the stovetop in the oven. So if you do want to make it in the oven, you're going to have to pre-cook the sauce a little bit, and I will put all of the steps and ingredients and everything in the description box down below, as well as on the website, dimitri'sdishes.com, where you can print this recipe. You are gonna have to cook the sauce with a little bit of cornstarch so it can activate the cornstarch and it can already be a little bit thick, and then you could just pour it all over the chicken once the sauce is cooked, and then you bake it in the oven until the chicken drumsticks reach 165 degrees Fahrenheit, and that usually takes about 45 minutes at 425 degrees Fahrenheit in the oven. I will put all those instructions in the description box down below, because this is a perfect recipe if you're entertaining, if you're doing a kid's birthday party, or maybe for game night. It's inexpensive, it's packed with flavor, and everyone loves it. So you're also gonna wanna make extra batches of that sauce, because that sauce on top of that broccoli is amazing. I'm gonna go in and take a bite. Try to not stuff my face with this giant bite of broccoli and chicken. Maybe I'll eat the broccoli first. You hear the crunch? That lemon and garlic with this sweet sauce in the broccoli is money. It is so delicious. You just give me that if I'm eating vegetarian and I will be happy. Just the broccoli with the sauce is amazing. But now it's time to taste the chicken. It has a little bit of a teriyaki vibe to it. If you guys like teriyaki chicken, I do have a homemade teriyaki recipe for you. Comment down if you want to learn how to make it. Let me know in the comment section down below. This is just amazing. It's sticky, it's sweet, it's savory. all the flavors that you want, all ready in under an hour, super inexpensive. Go onto the website, dimitrasdishes.com, print it, thumbs up if you like the video, and let me know what you want to learn next in the comment section down below, and I will see you all next time. Yes,